Thanks, George, for that. It was great insight on, why you need to be website first, what that looks like. I think that was really insightful on that piece. Next up here, we're going to have Nick Padilla, who's going to talk to us a little bit about SEO, why it's important, what are some of the basics that are there as well.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be with you guys. It has been great to hear both George and Craig and learn a little bit about what's happening here with COVID. As you know, our websites really tell us tell customers what our business is about. And if we don't have a website, or if we don't have it set up in a way, Google's going to have a very hard time understanding what your business is about. So my goal and purpose in today's presentation I've got are two questions that come to what you should know. How does SEO fit into today's marketing landscape? And how to identify when somebody needs SEO? If I can get you to answer these two questions based off of my presentation, it is a success. So let's talk about it. Why SEO is important. I'm going to hit all of these points here, but SEO is very important. I've asked plenty of times when we do these presentations in person, when was the last time you used Google? And I'll ask them to raise their hand. And majority of the time, everybody raises their hand. There are 5.6 billion Google searches every day. If you were to put that into seconds, that is over 60,000 Google searches every second. Now, let me tell you a little bit of a story that I've got. I lived in Australia for 2.5 years, and I moved back to the States, and my son has asthma. And where we moved, it's a valley, and during the winter, the pollution can't get out of that valley. So I go to the doctor, I'm explaining to him what's going on. My son's having a hard time breathing. They say, Nick, you know what? You need to go and get an air purifier for his room. You need to go and purchase bed sheets that are specific ones for allergies. You need to do this as soon as possible. I, of course, asked the thing, can I buy it on Amazon? And they said, no, Nick, you cannot. You need to go right now and purchase these things and get his room set up. So there I am. I go to a Best Buy and I say, all right, I got to find an air purifier. I'm looking at this wall of air purifiers. I just see different prices and they're all scattered. And I say, what do I do? There's a young man. He has a soul patch on his chin. He's walking over to me and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to talk to him. He doesn't have any life experience. How am I supposed to know that he knows about air purifiers? He says, how can I help you? And I said, I'm good. I've got my phone here. I'll do my researching now. 81% of consumers search online before buying. This statistic is from before COVID. As Craig was saying, people are searching now and looking and learning about your reviews, about your website, about what other people are saying about it. And you need to make sure that your website portrays to Google and to the people that are finding you exactly what you want them to find. So that my son's perfectly fine now. I got it. I didn't trust the Soul Patch Kid. So let's go on. Now, when you're searching on Google, this is how Google will look. Okay, in the top portion, you've got your paid ads. Somebody specifically paid to be there. You have to go through certain criteria. Google will say, cool, I like you. Based off of what you've provided and how your website looks, we'll get you ranking here for the paid ads. Below there are two sections. There's the local maps. That's where you can have your name, your address, your phone numbers, and some reviews. You can have links to your directions or to your website. Below there's the organic section. 84% of people will skip the ads at the top, and they will find what they're looking for in the local maps and in the organic section. The organic section alone will convert 8 times more than outbound leads, than you trying to go find somebody. So you having your name, your address, and your phone number verified, along with having your website verified and understood by Google, you have more of an opportunity than ever to be found on Google. So let's talk about how SEO works, okay? I've got this really cool boss, and he talks about if you are going to define your job, you need to be able to explain it to a 5-year-old in less than 10 seconds. So me being a nerd and looking at all these websites and title tags and HTML and trying to make sure that I've got the source code updated, and I'm trying to make it all complicated. And he says, Nick, you're saying it wrong. This is the definition of SEO. It is. SEO is the work that goes into your website to build relevance and trust so that it ranks on the first page of Google. So let's say that again. Craig, if you could help me with the next slide. SEO is the work that goes into your website to build relevance and trust so that it ranks on the first page of Google. So let's talk a little bit about what relevance and trust is. Relevance has everything to do with your physical website, both how the pictures look, how it's organized, and on the other side, the source code, how Google sees it. Now, Google will also look at your peers, and that's trust. So they're going to look at all of the websites that are speaking to your website and making sure that those speak to each other. So let's look at relevance. So when Google comes to your website, they crawl with their spiders, and they go through and they look at it. They're going to look at the coding similar to what you're seeing on the right side. So they're going to look at specific areas, your title tags, your H1s, your descriptions. They're going to make sure that it's organized in a way that they understand it. So all we're going to do is make sure that we do the same and make sure that you're set up for when Google comes, they understand what your website is about. So we're going to look at the content, the source code, the keywords, make sure that the keywords are organized and done in a way for Google to understand. Now, the next step that we're going to do is we're going to build trust. Now, trust is Google will look at the websites that have a link pointing back to your website and make sure that it's a variety of types of links and content and authority of links, and we're going to create a nice natural link portfolio pointing back to your website so that Google understands not only is their website organized, they've got people talking about them as well. Now, once you have both of these things put together, you have relevance plus trust, you become the best answer. And when you become the best answer, it's all about referrals. There's nothing better as a business owner than you asking, where did you come from? How'd you hear about me? Oh, my friend told me about you. Those are the best type of opportunities. So what our goal is, next slide. Our goal is to transform your website into a long-term asset in which Google becomes your word of mouth. Rather than having to depend on a bunch of friends, you then have Google saying, guess what? I found this really cool plumber. I found this great bakery. You should go to Saskatoon. If you're in Saskatoon, this is where you need to go. And in the end, our goal is to make it so that Google becomes that referral machine for you. So it becomes their word of mouth referral machine. I know that SEO is the solution for so many people. If you have a website and it is not on the first page of Google, you know that you need to have SEO done. There's no question about it. Those are the two questions you need to know. Do I have a website? Yes. Well, if I don't have a website, I know who I need to get in touch with. And then if I have a website and it's not on the first page of Google, you now know who you need to get in touch with. Thank you so much for this opportunity. SEO is very important. I'm so excited to hear from Mike, and we'll go from there.
Thanks so much, Nick.